What is up, Glen Society podcast? My name is Jake, and today we have an introduction of one of the Glen Society owners. Today we have Chris. So, Chris, we're going to get into some basic questions, some personal questions, some Glen questions, and some funny questions. Are you ready?
Yes, sir, I am. I am very ready for these. I don't know how I'm going to answer them though, but we'll see.
First off, what are you drinking tonight?
So tonight I am drinking this delicious barrel bourbon, silver label. It's weird. It's not the 13-year. It's 100 proof. There's not much information on this one. It's just a good silver label barrel bourbon. So
You have me very intrigued.
yeah, it's delicious. It was one of those on sale ones that I got for like $100 when it was supposed to be 180. Like scored a killer deal on it. Had to pick it up, but I don't know anything about it. But it's delicious.
That sounds awesome. I would love an absolute steal like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It was a steal, and it's so delicious.
I'm drinking Russell's store pick from my local liquor store, and we are almost to the end of the bottle, to the bottom of the bottle, as they say. That one's probably going to be killed tonight.
Yeah, it's a good possibility with how little's left on that one.
Okay, next question. What bottle got you into bourbon or whiskey?
So I guess there was two. Growing up, once I got out of college and we were going to my friend's apartment all the time, we were drinking Jim Beam by the gallon, it seemed like. In his kitchen, we had bottles of Jim Beam on the cabinets all the way lined up. So like that was like the bourbon that we just went to constantly. And then when I started to branch out and like explore a little bit more, I had some 1792s, I had the Buffalo Traces and whatnot, but the one that like really brought me into it is when I was down in Naples, Florida with my wife on vacation, and I tried a Garrison Brothers Balmore. I just saw it sitting at the bar, and I was like, "Hey, how much is that pour?" And they told me the price, and it was really inexpensive. I think it was like $20 or whatever, and that's an expensive bottle. But they were like, "Yeah, it's like $20 or whatever," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I'll try it." And I was like, something sparked inside of me with that one. I mean, it's a deep, rich Texas whiskey, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is so different than like everything I've had." So it was like the Garrison Brothers is really what sparked it for me, and then it's just been downhill, uphill. I don't know ever since from there.
I don't know if it's downhill or uphill, but $20 for Balmore and to like Garrison Brothers as like your first pour, I understand why you like it till this day.
Yeah, it's a very bold choice of bourbons to try. It's like because at that point I did have a couple others that I was trying, and I was like, okay, like I said, the Buffalo Trace, like I knew I liked these and that, but that was the one that was just like more off the wall that kind of showed me what is out there for the exploration, and that's what like sparked that exploration. Okay, what more is there? Because at this bar there's 200 bottles, give or take. They do their own single barrels and stuff, so it was like that day I was like, oh, what about this one? What about that one? And just it snowballed that day. Literally just snowballed.
That sounds about right for bourbon drinkers. Kind of snowballed.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
Next question. What was your first big bourbon purchase?
Oddly enough, also the Balmore. And that was because I tried it, like we just talked about. And for me, I consider a big purchase over $100. Just the way the prices are these days for the past couple of years, I kind of think that anything under 100 isn't necessarily like a big purchase. Like, yeah, it's expensive, relatively speaking. But the Balmore, because I had it and was like, man, I fell in love with it. It took me at the time 2 years to find it, and that was the one where I just pulled the trigger. I was like, man, $200. I know what I'm getting. I'm down for it. So that was like the actual big purchase.
For an early on whiskey drinker, that's a pretty expensive haul for something that I guess you did try it, so it's a little different than just going to the store and just kind of blind, but definitely a different type of whiskey. If people haven't had Garrison Brothers, it's not like Still Austin's. It's a lot different. It's a lot more it's more towards the Detling side. It's more a little harsh, and it's not for everybody, but glad you keeping Garrison Brothers alive.
Oh yeah, I mean, it hurt to buy it, but when I came home, my wife saw it. She was like, "Dang, that was a pricey bottle. I know how much that cost." And I was like, "Yep, you do." And she was like, "But you had it. You know what you're getting." I was like, "Exactly." So she wasn't mad about it, which was nice. But yeah, exactly. It's like the Garrison Brothers. It's so different than all the other Texas whiskeys that it is a very bold choice, and that's why it's weird that it was my first one to get me started and to buy.
Now, the next question was, what's the first bottle that made you go, okay, I'm in? But I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to ask you, Do you still have the bottle today?
I still have one of the Balmores, but that's not the bottle that I was like, okay, I'm in. Like once I got that bottle and it became like the stepping stone, um, I don't really have a specific bottle where I was like, okay, now that I started collecting, I was like, okay, this signifies the one that I'm in because I don't chase a lot of the, I guess, like allocated bottles. I like to chase a lot of the craft bottles. And I guess that's because of where I started with the Garrison Brothers. I was like, okay, these are really rich, bold, unique flavors. So I think once I got not necessarily one, but I think when I got like 6 craft distillery bottles, that's when I realized I was in at that point because I was chasing the uniqueness at that point. And I think that's kind of spread across it instead of being like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, I definitely feel the more craft. I think there's definitely some craft companies that give some of the allocated stuff a run for their money. I know like one of late was Smoke Eye Hill. It gave everybody a GTS killer kind of vibe, and I'd rather chase the craft myself as well.
Yeah, and as much as I love the allocated stuff, it's just I kind of think the uniqueness of the craft distilleries brings out a little bit more of that exploration, in my opinion.
There's definitely different types of craft as well. So, I mean, it depends on what you like, and I know everybody's palate's different. I know there's some local stuff that people like that I don't like, and vice versa, but definitely on the craft train with you there. What is your go-to pour as of late? The bottle you keep coming back to every week or every day?
Ooh, uh, I guess right now it's between two, and right now it's between the 1792 full proofs and the Jack Daniel's single barrel rye picks. I have 3 of those that I've been like bouncing around on a lot lately, so I guess probably that one.
1792 Full Purpose, one of my absolute favorites.
Oh, it's
I
so good.
I kill my bottle pretty dang quickly, and I'm guessing you're talking about one of the Hero Selects is one of those Jack Daniels.
Yep, I have one Hero Select. I have a pick from my local club, and then I have another pick that says members only. I don't know much about it. I got it from a friend of mine. I think it's a Costco pick, to be honest with you. Uh, but I do have 3 of those single barrel picks, Rise from Jack Daniels, and they're so good. So it's very easy to bounce around those 3 bottles.
Yeah, those Jack Daniels picks are unbelievable, especially the Hero Select. I know one of our other owners, Will, got us all into the Hero Selects, was able to pick them up a bunch of us for him. Um, and we're excited to see what the new one is for August, as we're in late August at this point.
Yeah, I'm excited to see which one comes out.
What do you prefer? Proof down, barrel strength, low proof barrel strength, or bottle and bond?
I have been leaning more towards the bottle and bond lately, but I guess for layman's terms, I'll go foolproof because that foolproof is usually around that 115, I think, or 125, depending on the brand. Um, I think that's kind of where I land. So there's plenty that are delicious that are in the 130s or even hazmats. I love a good hazmat, but I think the ones I reach to more frequently are around that foolproof range.
I would say that question's very relative because it depends on a bottle that you've been really liking. Like there's a bottle, just for example, I have it on the shelf just sitting here, Rittenhouse Ride, right?
Yep.
100 proof, but fantastic pour and one that I picked up to give away because it's such a good bottle. But I normally stick to the barrel strength. The low proof barrel strengths are also nice, but it's all
Mhm.
about preference for that question, I feel like.
I agree because I mean tonight I'm sipping on this 100 proof bourbon from Barrel Bourbon, and I'm like, man, this 100 proof has just got tons of freaking flavor. I'm like, yeah, I reached the 120s, but this 100 proof is just it's hitting today. It's just what I was feeling.
I feel like it's hard to, as a, just like you and I, it's hard to get back to those lower proof bourbons a lot of times because we're so used to drinking the, as you said, 120, 130 proof stuff that once you kind of go back to it, you're kind of left wanting more. And the finish is normally kind of lacking on a lot of stuff. So I get what you're saying. I think for this Russell's pick I'm drinking, it has a lot of nice heat, not like proof wise because they're always 110, but it has a lot of nice heat that gives you that feeling that it's hotter, that it's 120 proof plus.
Yeah, exactly. I can't disagree with that at all.
Russell's is definitely a pick I would like to do for our 10 Glen group. It would be fun.
I know you've been harping on a Russell's pick, and I don't disagree with that because Russell's picks are good. I think there's other ones in my opinion that I would prefer over it for our first pick, but it's by no means a bad one.
I'd have to go Kings, Detling, Russell's, Old Forester.
Yeah, definitely Kings and Old Forester are on the top of my list personally.
Yeah, the Black Label Old Forester pick would be even the full proof. I'd take a full proof, honestly.
Yes, the Black Label though. A lot of people sleep on those.
They are slept on once they do come out, and it's very limited. It's kind of hard to get sometimes.
Oh, for sure. I'm still waiting on the one I helped to show up. It's been a month and a half, and I'm still waiting for it to come in.
It's funny. I think the market's kind of popped, if you would say, but it's funny that distributors, it actually feels like it's taking longer to get stuff now. I
Oh,
know you're in a state just like mine where we don't get a lot of harder to get stuff. We don't get a lot of the usual like old Fitz nines and things like that that just came out, or old Fitz sevens that just came out. We still haven't seen them, and we just got like Blue Note, and Blue Note's a fantastic bourbon, so it's
oh,
cool to
and
see the difference in states.
exactly. And you know that I'm a huge Blue Note fan. I mean, I got 2 barrels off to the side here that are Blue Note from my store. One was barrel number 5, one was barrel number 3 from them. I use it in a lot of my TikTok videos. It's not hidden that I am a huge Blue Note fan. It's definitely out there, and I think everyone should be trying Blue Note. So the fact that you finally got them in your area is kind of shocking to me, to be honest, since I've already had 6 store picks from one store in my area.
Yeah, the Schwan liquors, which is my like go to. The Rittenhouse was from it. The Brussels was from it. They just did a Blue Note pick. I'll probably have to try it, but the pick that Will did with his local liquor store has got me into Blue Note, and one I'm probably cherishing as my first Blue Note pick
Oh, definitely cherish it because they only get better from here.
as it gets older, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Ready for the next question?
Yes, sir.
What's that one bottle you never buy again? That bottle yet you regret buying now?
Oh, that's hard. I guess, all right. I guess for this one, I'll say the Angels Envy, like standard or single barrel offerings, like, because their basic is like what the port finish or whatever. Um, I think because I have so many bottles and it takes me a little bit longer than most to go through them, I think that's the one bottle that, as you let sit open for too long, just gets absolutely disgusting. So it's one that, like, when you open it, you have to finish it relatively quick. And for me, I like to not just have a bottle that quick. So I think that one is the one that I'll just never buy again because I'm going to leave it open for too long and it's just going to go bad.
I don't disagree with you on the port finish stuff. I'm not a huge port finish fan. I know I've had some that I don't mind that don't take over the flavor profiles of it, but I definitely agree with you on the Angels Envy. I'm not a huge fan of their stuff. I know I've tried the triple oak. I didn't mind it, but I'm not going back to the shelf to get that.
I do like the triple oak personally. I think that one could use a little bit more flavor, but it, as it sits open, it doesn't go bad as quick. It doesn't, like, the oxidation does not take to ruining it as quick as the port finish one does.
For sure. Okay, we're gonna get into some personal questions now, some more in-depth stuff. First question: what does whiskey mean to you?
For me, whiskey means, I guess, friendship and camaraderie. A lot of my friends, whether it be online and in person here, I think that's a lot of them come from whiskey over time, kind of like sparking interest at the liquor store or at bottle shares. I mean, my friend Lonnie that I do the Right Pour podcast with, I met him at a bottle share and we become like super close friends. So I think for me, it really is that friendship and that common interest that sparks, and it's like, okay, we have that one common interest of whiskey, and then it's like, holy crap, we have so much other things in common outside of that too that you don't find anywhere else. Like being someone from the car world and going to car shows all the time and whatnot. Like it seems like I always met a lot of people that were very, one-sided in terms of like cars, or that's it. Whereas the whiskey people I meet have a lot more hobbies, and you can find people that have more interests that you share that you didn't realize. So I think that's something that's a little bit more unique about this community because of the whiskey itself.
Touching on that cars topic, I think bourbon is very like almost a side hobby for a lot of people. It's still their main hobby a lot of times, but they have other hobbies that they still stick with that kind of it's like, hey, bourbon's that like thing at night that I do, whereas like cars, I do it on the weekend or that kind of thing. So I think I definitely agree with that kind of extra hobbies with along with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really is an extra hobby that we can all find a common interest in. Like personally, I've moved on from cars, and now I did camping for a while. I'm getting back into boats and stuff like that. And it's like I meet people with the boats and the campers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like at the campground. Hey, you like some whiskey?" I'm like, "Dude, I got like 6 bottles in the camper. Let's go." It's like it's one of those common interests that you just can't get away from.
I will say it's like you can't you can't really bring your car everywhere, but you can bring bottles of bourbon everywhere. So it's definitely, like you said, it's an accessory. It's a thing you bring along. I know they make bags just like I have over here of the H&R bag where you can just bring a bunch of bottles to your friends. So it's definitely a different hobby, but one I definitely love. Okay, what would you define as a good pour? And I'll add a little bit to that. What's your like your normal go-to palate kind of like? Are you a sweeter guy? Are you a more oak guy? What's your somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, I guess as of late, I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. I guess I like the richer flavors. To me, a good pour is got a lot of depth to it. Not necessarily on the nose, but on the palate. Like as you drink it, every time you take a sip, it changes. Um, and sometimes for the worse. Like sometimes you take a sip and you're like, oh, well, that wasn't as good as the first one. But the fact that it's changing every time and making your palate kind of explore a little bit more is kind of what I think is a good pour because it really messes with your senses a little bit.
I definitely understand getting the different flavors because it comes to what environment you're in, what mood you're in, what food you ate. So it's really all relative of what is happening around you that changes that pour. It also might be different depending on era too. So it's you're gonna get a lot of different flavor at the neck versus the bottom of the bottle.
Oh yeah, exactly. Even if you're drinking it like I live out in the country, but if I go into town, it's a lot more congested in there, right? So the air around the building can change the pour. So the same pour could taste different from my house to being in town.
I think it changes from my basement down here where it's cold to the upstairs where it's a little warmer. So
Oh, exactly.
um, definitely changes based on your environment, your mood, and everything like that.
100%.
What's the bourbon you'd bring to impress a new friend? You're going to his house, you're meeting him for one of the first time, you just met him one time, maybe you're going over there. What's that bottle you're impressing him with?
It's going to be one of two. It's going to be a Penelope non-finished one, so like the estate collection or anything like that. I think those are very approachable, um, and still have like a good bit of flavor. And also, and I'll go back to it again because I've been loving it lately. Is the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye, and specifically because I have one of the Hero Select that we were talking about earlier, and mine is like a 139 proof or something. Like it's hot, or maybe 137. It's hot. It's a really high proof, but every sample I've given it to someone at work or whatever, they're like, dude, this drink's like 100 or 105 proof, and they don't know anything about whiskeys. They're like, this is delicious. What proof is it? And I was like, it's a 130 plus. So I think that impresses people because they would normally walk by it that are new to the whiskeys, and they'd walk by it because it's too hot, and they're like, man, maybe I do need to explore that because maybe it's not as harsh as they thought it would be. So I think that's impressive in on its own.
Both are fantastic options. I would definitely agree with the Hero Select. They do not drink 130 plus proof.
Oh, not at
They
all.
probably drink around 115 and maybe 120 if you're a new bourbon drinker, but those Hero Selects are a special one. I'm really glad that our
Oh,
buddy Wills just kind of pushed us to get those.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm not even kidding. When I gave a sample to someone that used to work with me, and he came to me and said, "Dude, that drink's like 100 proof." I'm like, okay, that's impressive for someone that does not like brown liquor. Like that is genuinely impressive.
I get it because it's hard for people to understand. Like you feel like for newer bourbon drinkers or newer drinkers, it's like 80 proof seems high, but once you get to 130 plus, it's like wow. So it's definitely got to be weird for those new people that don't really know what to expect going into it. Do you chase bottles or experiences?
For me, that's a catch 22 because I chase the bottles that have the experiences. Um, that I guess that's what it comes down with the craft is I do chase the bottles that give you an experience, but I guess at the end of the day, ultimately it's the experience. It's going to the distillery or going to the store with your friends, and not necessarily hunting, but just talking to the owners of the store and learning new things as you go along. So I guess ultimately for me, it's the experiences, but ideally the bottles that give you the experience.
That's a different answer to what I was thinking. You kind of morphed it together. I think the question's kind of difficult because they're kind of one and the same. One gives you the other. Um, and I think the bottles, it's like you said with impressing friends. You could bring the bottles over and that's a fun experience based on that bottle. So it's definitely a different answer and I like it.
Yeah, it's a challenging question, and that's why I feel like I had to morph because it really does come down to it needs to be the two in my opinion.
How do you prefer to drink your whiskey? And why do you drink it that way? Are you neat, rocks, cocktails, a little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything, I guess. At home, mainly it's in a Glen or a fancier bougie glass or whatever. I'm getting a lot more into the cocktails, and I think that's exploring the flavors of the whiskey or the gin or tequila too. You know, it all kind of rolls in on that one. So I guess mainly neat, but that answer could change in about 6 months.
I think it's all relative to what you're kind of in the mood for as well. But if you need a 10 Glen Society Glen, go check out the
Yep.
website.
Go to our Patreon, get you some 10 Glen merch, some Glenn's hat, maybe if we have any left.
We have some more coming soon, so we're excited for that. Some new merch and new other things coming on the pipeline soon. So we're excited for that. Next question, Chris. Do you experiment with blends or barrel projects at all?
No. Just simple answer no. I have started doing some minor blending with what I have at the house, but oddly enough, I don't do it, and that's because I've learned a lot about the science behind it and how different chemicals mix together and whatnot, and I feel like it's very easy to screw it up. And I think that I kind of nerded out a little too much, and I'm like scaring myself away from blending, but I also have zero interest in buying a barrel and sitting there, and I have no patience to age it. I just don't.
I don't have patience either. That's why these two barrels have been sitting here for a while, and I don't think they've changed at all because the environment down here is pretty cold. So we'll have to check it out at some point. But definitely
Yeah.
agree with you. I don't have the patience to sit there, just like fishing. I don't have the patience to sit there and just cast my reel all day. So I get what you're coming from, and it's definitely why would you change the whiskey that's already good? So I definitely don't disagree with you.
Well, what's funny is that you brought that up as fishing. I love fishing. I have the patience for that. I love going out on the boat and casting a line and trying to catch the big bass or go striper fishing or go flounder fishing. I love all that. And that takes a lot of patience. I don't have the patience to stare at a barrel on my counter and be like, okay, has it changed yet? What's it taste like now? I feel like I'd go back to it way too much amount of time. It's like, oh, this is perfect. It's like, okay, cool. I got one glass left out of it because I sampled it too much. um, but for me, if I did get into metal projects, I actually have a metal building on my property that I could put it in, and then that gets hot and cold. It's basically its own rick house. So like, if I was getting into barrel projects, I actually have like the perfect spot for it.
Your own rick house sounds awesome. Should we put some bourbon in it? It sounds great.
If I can get enough people to give me some bottles, maybe, and make an infinity barrel and age it for a couple of weeks, or months, I probably would.
Okay, Chris, we're going to the behind the bottle section now, and we're going to start with what's the weirdest thing you've paired with whiskey?
Pizza. I'm not kidding.
Funny enough, before started the podcast, y'all, we were talking about this. Chris is from Connecticut. I was in Connecticut this weekend. We were talking about pizza, and this is funny that he brought this up now.
Literally a good pizza with a good crust, the right mozzarella, the right pepperoni, and the right bourbon goes surprisingly good together. I know people probably have more off the wall stuff. I was like, yeah, it's not that off the wall, but I'm like, people just look at pizza as like, oh, like a comfort food, like grab a pizza and a beer. No, grab a pizza and a bourbon, and you'd actually be kind of surprised.
Pizza is good by itself, and bourbon's good by itself. Why wouldn't they be good together?
People just overlook the simplest things, I guess.
So let's go to the next question. Have you ever had a pour that makes you emotional, bring up a bad memory, or a time that has an emotional memory tied to that one pour?
Honestly, no.
Yes, you know. What
Yeah.
about the Balmore? Balmore at all?
I wasn't emotional. It was just we were on vacation and there was like, hey, you want a flight? You could build your own. I'm like, cool. What's that bottle with the metal on it? Like literally, because like all the Balmores have like a little medallion because it won an award. And I was like, what's that one? I've never seen that before. So it wasn't really emotional. It was just a spur of the moment. Like, I'll try it.
I guess that question's more relative to who it is. I feel like when you think about a lot of times when you drink stuff that's like your first of things, it kind of brings up a memory, not emotionally, but just kind of makes you think about stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have like crazy weird memories. I have a bottle that's right behind me. It's a wax dipped Weller over here. I mean, it's not really, I guess it's a good memory. It was my first FO raffle win, and it's a foolproof wax dipped Weller. Like, it's unique as hell. That's why I never opened it. So I guess for that question, if one that brings back a memory would be that one, but it's not like an emotional memory. It's just like, yeah, that one's cool as hell.
okay, Chris, what's your guilty pleasure pour that you're willing to admit here today or one that you love and just keep it a secret?
Um, I guess because everyone kind of judges us these days, like, oh, if you don't try this, if you don't have this or whatever, it's the simple, good old Jim Beam white label. Like that's what I grew up on, and that's what I just like going back to. Like a lot of people don't see it on my shelf. I don't have one out here visible because everyone's just like, "Oh, you drink Jim Beam?" It's like, all right, don't be a snob about it. It's still good.
I mean, you did bring up in the beginning that you were going to Jim Beam, so it makes a lot of sense now. I mean, I think the Jim Beam Bon Bon is it Jim Beam? No, Evan Williams Bon Bon,
Yep.
but just ignore that. But yeah, no, the Jim Beam like lower proof, like not lower proof, but like the normal shelfers are always awesome, and I love the barrel proof options are fantastic. So I get the Jim Beam.
Yeah, and a lot of people kind of knock it these days. You know, they're like, if you're not drinking Heaven Hill or you're not drinking Bardstown or whatever, like you just don't drink good stuff. And I'm like, can I just go back to my roots happily without being judged? You know what I mean? Like,
I totally get it. It's weird in the burger community sometimes. You feel like you get kind of pressured to try something or you don't like that you like something and they don't. And it's all like we said earlier, it's all relative to what you like. So
mhm.
like you said, you grew up drinking you grew up drinking Jim Beam and it's one that you kind of go back to just because it's that kind of sense of um, you know, growing up, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it brings you back to it's like a comfort food. Just brings you back, kind of humbles you a little bit, makes you appreciate the other stuff.
Totally agree. Would you rather have unlimited access to your favorite bourbon or an unlimited budget to try all the rare bottles?
Easy answer. The second one. I'd rather try all the rare bottles because to me, because this is such a vague question in my opinion, rare bottles does not necessarily mean allocated. Rare may mean single barrels that are hard to get or something along those lines. So I'd rather have the unlimited budget to do all that exploration.
I don't disagree with you. I said the same thing, and I picked because I wanted to try some of the older, dusty stuff that I definitely can't afford, and it's harder to get. So I
Yep.
would try those rare, older ones. And the rare stuff is, it's all relative, like you said. It could mean allocated. It could mean stuff that maybe you guys don't get in South Carolina that we get in Maryland, or vice versa. And it could be anything craft that maybe you guys just don't get pics of. Like I said earlier, we don't get Blue Note. We just got it, and now there's pics of it. So definitely understand the rare stuff. More getting so like pics and different things that are harder to get craft wise. Okay, so do you judge a bourbon more on its nose, palate, or the finish?
All right, I'm going to answer this one a little differently. I'm not going to give you one specific answer. I'm going to rank it. For me, it's palate, finish, nose. Okay. I
Ooh.
prefer, as long as the palate's good, then I will keep going back to it or I'll judge it on that one, right? If the finish is like short, dry, like kind of crappy, it's like, all right, I'll just drink it quicker. But if it's like a nice long finish, I'll just drink it slower. And then in the nose, it's like, okay, I enjoy nosing the bourbon. But after I do my first initial nosing of the bottle, like I don't go back to that for the most part. Like at home, I just put them down.
I don't disagree with you on that one. I said I think palate first, just because I think the palate or sorry, I said finish first because the
Yes.
finish kind of leaves you either wanting more or satisfied with the pour. So I don't disagree with the palate being the kind of middle guy because or the top guy because that's what you get first. So I definitely agree because the nose could be fantastic or it could be terrible, but the bourbon could be good and the nose could be fantastic, but the bourbon's terrible. So
Yeah.
it depends on what it is, and um, that's a definite craft
Yeah.
too for sure.
Oh, 100%. The nose can be very misleading sometimes in a good or a bad way. The palate to me is what defines what it really is. And the finish is like I stated, if it's short and dry, it's like, all right, I'll just take another sip and just finish it quicker. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's a nice, oily, rich, long finish, okay, it just takes me longer to drink it. And there's also nothing wrong with that either.
They're both good and they're in their different ways.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, Chris, you have 20 bucks. You walk into the bar. What pour or pours are you getting?
Balmori for $20 like I did in Naples.
I was gonna,
Because only because we touched on that, I had to say it.
I was gonna bring that up and I forgot about it because I literally saw it down on the list of questions and I was just like, okay,
Okay,
besides Balmore, so besides Balmore, which one are you, what are you picking? Anything in
okay.
particular?
I have a side question to that. At $20, if I can get one pour, are we considering it like 2 ounces.
Okay, let's consider it 2 ounces. What are you going with, Chris?
Okay, so could I order a half pour of Russell's 15? Because I bought a 2 ounce at $40. So could I order a 1 ounce of Russell's 15 at 20? Would that count?
I'm gonna allow it. I'm gonna suggest you buy that half ounce because that bottle is absolutely fantastic. Having it on my shelf, I definitely understand why for $20 you'd buy that, but that was a different take than I was expecting.
I'm keeping you on your toes here, but no, honestly, if I can buy like if I can buy a half pour, so we'll call it 1 ounce of a Russell's 15 for $20 because it's long gone here in South Carolina. Good luck ever finding it. I would rather do that.
Definitely a different take, and I love it, the creativity coming out there.
I got to keep you on your toes, man.
Okay, hot take time. Give me your hot take for whiskey, bourbon, all the above.
Most of anything coming out of Buffalo Trace is not good.
Wow. You heard it here first, folks. Oh my God. No, I
Yep.
don't disagree with you on that one, buddy. Don't get me wrong. There's some stuff. I just pulled it out of the shelf because I finished my other one. The single barrel the small batch EH Taylor is pretty good, but I don't disagree with your take. I think a lot of stuff, the Blanton straight from the barrel, Blanton's regular, like the Buffalo Trace regular. I think the picks definitely outlie most of the stuff, but I don't disagree with you on the hot take.
Yeah, I agree. The picks, I think, are relative to the people doing the pick, of course, can be significantly better, but like your standard Buffalo Trace, your standard, actually anything Blanton's is not that good. Yeah, I do have a couple, and I mean, it's all over my TikTok that I bought 2 bottles of E.H. Taylor small batch when I was in New Orleans. Yeah, I'm going to buy it because it's at MSRP and it's one of the ones from Buffalo Trace that I actually do like. But outside of E.H. Taylor stuff, just it's not, it's overhyped. It's not that good.
Yeah, I don't understand why they did the whole. I mean, I understand for money purposes why they did it, but I don't understand the whole purpose of doing the small batch BTAC option. I don't disagree that the Buffalo Trace bourbon's overrated, but I do think that some of the Pappies and stuff are good, but they're just way overpriced, so it makes it more of a
100%. They are 100% overrated.
yeah.
As someone that has had pours of all the Pappies, the 15, 20, 23 year, the rye, I've had, the Rip Van Winkle 10 year, the 12 year, the Lot B. I've had all of them. I've had samples of all of them from my local bar. Not once was I was like, yes, I will go pay what the people are asking for this. Would I buy them at true MSRP in that, what, $200 range that they're supposed to be? 100% I would. But I will never go out and personally spend thousands of dollars on those bottles. They're overhyped. They're not that good.
I miss the old days before our time drinking bourbon, Chris, where they were just
Mhm.
sitting on the shelf for $65.
Also, hot take: the 15-year Pappy is 10 times better than the 23-year.
Oh, I don't. That's not a hot take. I agree with you on that one.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think the 23, while it is good, all the Pappies are good. Don't get me wrong;
No.
they're not great, but the 23 is just too much oak.
Mm-hmm. You buy that just to have status.
Yeah, it's like Bland's for a person that doesn't understand bourbon. It's the horsey, the bottle on the shelf because they know what that is.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, Chris, we're gonna get into the TGS, the Ten Glen Society identity questions now, and the first one being, how did you get a part of the Ten Glen Society ownership group?
Actually from you. You're the one who reached out and said, "Hey, like I'm looking to start this group, here's a bunch of other people." And honestly, when you reached out to me about that and said like, "Oh, here's like so and so," I honestly never heard of any of you. And I was like, "Oh, let me go." Well, actually, I knew of you first, of course, because that's how you reached out to me. But I didn't know Cato. I didn't know Aaron. I didn't know Buddy. I didn't know Barrel Proof Ryan. There was like a bunch of y'all that I was just like, I've never heard of who these people are. So I started from there branching out and like looking at like going out of my way to look at y'all's content. So I got started because of you, and then it turned into this great, experience since.
I mean, hey, we're making the podcast right now, so it must be going okay. I mean, we're about a month over 2.5 months in, and we're hoping that we can kind of take this thing to the next level with the podcast and other different content as well.
Oh yeah, with all the things we have planned for this podcast, I am extremely excited for, and I think it's opening up opportunities that I did not think were going to be possible on my own.
I mean, like Chris said, we have more opportunities now. We have 4 distillers now that are going to come on the podcast. It was three when we filmed it the last time. It's four now,
Yep.
and we couldn't be more excited to bring these guys on, let our owner or let our members kind of ask questions to see what they want to know about these guys or about what they're doing. And it gives us a different aspect and gives us more connections to try to get some barrel picks for you guys. So that's one. It's part of the reason we started this. It was the community and the barrel picks. Okay, Chris, TGS again. What does TGS mean to you?
To me, we're gonna go back to that whiskey question. Well, it's that sense of community. It's that we have come together to build the community that we have with the Discord and all this stuff. So not just our owners, but our members and our Patreons, people that are so supportive. It's like, hey, they're looking at us and like, hey, we appreciate what you're doing and we support it and we want to help it grow as well. So I think it comes down to that big community that we are growing as a whole.
I totally agree. I think we have about over 50 new friends and family at this point. So thank you to
Oh,
the
definitely.
TGS fam. We
I mean,
are
I'm going
good.
up to see Kevin soon enough. I mean, he's invited me to a football game in Charlotte and whatnot. And I would never have met him if it wasn't for Ten Glen. So
Kevin is one of the OG members, man. He's gonna catch me in the level at some point. I hope I don't. I hope I continue to keep pushing on. But Kevin and all the guys are awesome, and we couldn't be more excited for what we have planned ahead. And I know you're going to see King's Family Distillery, one that we're possibly going to get onto the podcast soon. You're also
yep,
going to see Ryan, which is awesome in Tennessee. So, hey, you go to Ryan's house, have a free night stay, and have a couple of pours. Can't beat that.
maybe fill some content together, do some collaborations while we're sitting side by side, right?
Oh, totally. I would love that. It'd be awesome. I know we've talked about doing it together as well. Probably have some content coming out soon that we're possibly planning. So we're excited for those things ahead as well.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, Chris, what's your favorite part so far of the group or memory?
I guess my favorite thing about the community so far is meeting the members that are just so welcoming and hospitable. As someone that's part of other discords, it's always like, yeah, you're kind of friends or whatever, but I don't think there's another discord out there that I'm at least a part of that is just so welcoming and willing to, like your best buds, you banter, you kind of like, knock each other around with the jokes, but at the end of the day, it's like we're best friends in a way.
I definitely agree. I think that our members and even some of even the owners as well, it's crazy what not even really like Chris and I. We haven't even met each other technically. I've met one of the owners. It was Joe, and that's it. And it's crazy to think that what we started has been all through virtual calls, emails, everything like that, texts, and so definitely understand. Like it's weird, but it's awesome that the fact that we have people to lean on to help us out, and we've had some of the members come out and say, "Hey, we would love to help you with this or help you with that,"
Hmm.
and whatever we can do to continue this thing going, we are in love with the idea that you guys came up with.
Exactly. And it so far has reached across the country. I mean, we have people on the West Coast. You and I live out here on the East Coast. So the fact that we're able to reach, I know it's only 50 people in this whole gigantic country, but 50 people across literally the coast, to me, that's fairly impressive.
Yeah, we got a bunch of guys in California, some guys in Washington, got some guys in New Mexico and Colorado. So we're definitely expanding and we're hoping to have you guys join us. I mean, if you are interested, it's patreon.com/Penguin Society. So I have to get a little shout out there to the Patreon. Hey, Chris, I'm going to separate these next two into separate questions. Okay, Chris, your dream Penguin Society collab. Who are we collabing with?
Oof. Oh, there's so many. There's so many that I genuinely want to collab with. Guess, I guess it's going to sound kind of cliche a little bit, but I guess right now it's going to be like my ultimate dream is going to be Dream Spirits. I've heard so much stuff about them. I've never heard anything bad about their stuff, and I can't get it without ordering it online here. So I think being able to reach that high level of single barrel picks that people are trying to go after, I think would be like the dream. Is like if we can reach that top tier level.
Yeah, Prav is on a different level. He's got the absolute mindset down there in Leesburg, Virginia, running a liquor store and some other things, and then having his own distillery now where he's buying different barrels from big distilleries like Booker's and other things like that, Jim Beam's, Booker's, and those things. And he is turning them into different things. I know Big Mike went there and did two Booker's batches and morphed them together, and Prav has something going down there, and I'm excited to see where they go. But next
Yeah,
question, Chris, what collab or what pick are you going to do besides Dream Spirits?
I'd really, really like to do something with Kings because they're doing some really good stuff lately, and they're awesome people too. Justin Carr are fantastic. So I think, like, for a pick that I want to do relatively quick, I think that one would be really good. Also, Four Roses, I think would be really cool.
Four Roses is a good one too. I didn't even think about Four Roses, but yeah, no, Kings is where it's at, and I am definitely in love with their stuff. Justin Carr over there have years and years of experience and have taken it into sourcing whiskey. At least they're sourcing and they're telling you where it's from most of the time. And I like that knowledge about it, that behind the scenes stuff that most people aren't going to give you where it's from or anything like that. So it's nice to have them telling you where it's from and they are making their own batches and blends and things.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're very transparent about their stuff as being NDP, and that's what I love.
Do you have a whiskey superpower that brings you like to finding unicorns, tasting notes, nosing? Like, what's your kind of thing that you feel like you're the best at?
I like to think nothing, but I've also been able to source some like interesting things by just making like one phone call. And apparently that might be the superpower. Like I've gotten what, four Penelope F cancers for people. Like three went to Kevin, one went to Aaron. I got a old Rip Van Winkle, or what is it?
Hmm.
They call it the Pappy 13, but it's
It's
it's like
the
it's the Rip
the
Van
family
Winkle.
estate one, I think.
Yeah, the 13-year rye. Like I found that one for someone the other day for like $300 or $400 cheaper than anything they can find it for. And I'm like, all I did was just call my buddy, be like, hey, do you still got this? And he's like, or do you have this at all? So apparently my superpower might be finding like interesting shit, but
Not
I don't
always
think it
unicorns, but the
is.
family rye is the 13 rye is definitely a unicorn. But finding some harder to get stuff is probably on your maybe not unicorns, but finding harder to get stuff is probably your superpower.
It might be. I don't like to think it is, but it might actually be that without me thinking that.
Okay, Chris, we're down to our last section here, and our last section is for the laughs, fun stuff. The first one is if you were a bottle of bourbon, which one would you be and why?
Oof. Okay. Okay, so this one will be a little off the wall compared to everything we've talked about, but I think it's gonna be as of late, and once again, these answers can always change in like 2 months, 3 months, whatever. But I think it's gonna be the Blood Oath Pact 11. If that's a
Mm,
bourbon I have to be, because I like the tequila stuff, I like the bourbon stuff. I think it's a very well-rounded, balanced, off the wall at the same time kind of pour. So if I had to be a bourbon, that's what, well, I guess it's not really a bourbon at that point because it's finished. Well, no, it's still a finished bourbon. So I think that's what it would be because it's just so like, what the hell, all combined into one.
Chris, I hate to say that's accurate for you as what the hell. um,
Facts.
Chris and I are both that way. I feel like we're just kind of going with it, off the wall, unchained.
Yeah, oh
So
yeah.
I
I'm
definitely agree.
I'm definitely feral sometimes and unhinged, so it's kind of fitting.
Okay, Chris, what if you could share a bourbon with a historical figure, who would it be and what would you talk about? This could be a person that's dead or alive. Just
So I think for me, I'm gonna make this like a round table. So it's not gonna be one specific person. It's going to be the 595 ODA guys that went into Afghanistan after 9/11. And a couple of them started the Horse Soldier brand. I think if I could sit down and have a glass with all the guys that were part of that, that changed the world that we know it today and whatnot, because 9/11 for me was like something I, as such a young kid, just ingrained in my memory from where I grew up. You know, like 9/11 happened 2 hours from my house. Like I knew people that had family that would go to the city regularly. So like that one just like hit home for so many things, like for so many years. So I think if I can sit down with the people that created Horse Soldier and the rest of the team that are the horse soldiers, I think that would mean like the world to me to just talk to them and learn about them and their mindset and like all that stuff. Like I have a million questions for them.
That is a different take, and I didn't even think about that. I haven't tried much horse soldier, but those guys going in first, there's got to be some stories they can tell for sure.
Exactly. And like I said, 9/11 just hit home for me so hard when I was such a young kid. Like I distinctly remember so much of it, that that's something I want to explore more on a personal level than anything else, I guess.
Yeah, 9/11 was a rough time for America, and I definitely want to thank everybody who served and everybody who lost their life in that historic day,
Oh
bad
yeah,
historic day.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, Chris, what's your most bottle kill worthy moment in your life?
Killing a handful of Irish whiskeys called the Knot at my wedding. Uh, Me and a couple of the groomsmen absolutely love this Irish whiskey called the Knot. It was fantastic. It was one of the ones that we got into like way early, and I haven't been to it in years because it's like super hard to find to begin with. But I think we killed like 3 or 4 bottles that night, and it was specifically for the groomsmen. Like the bar knew if you didn't have the brown vest that the groomsmen were wearing, you didn't get any. So they like people saw us drinking it, and they're like, "Oh, I want some of that." The bartender was like, "Nope, you were not part of the wedding party. You're shit out of luck."
Damn, the secret groomsmen only is awesome. But
Yep.
even funnier that it's the knot, which is funny that you tied the knot that day. So that's a little awesome hidden meaning for sure.
Which is funny because I didn't even think about that until you brought it up. It was just something we really loved at the time. It was just so dang good. I think I literally bought like 4 or 5 bottles and I literally went home with like half a bottle left. So we put some down that night.
How many groomsmen are we talking?
7.
Wow, that's a lot of whiskey.
Yeah. Well, I guess it included my dad, so 8 because my dad
Okay,
had
so
some too. Yeah. So there was 8 of us.
still,
I mean, that's still a lot.
that is a lot of whiskey, but it's a momentous day for sure.
Oh, that night lives in. Oof.
Okay, Chris, we're winding down on questions. If you could invent a wild bourbon infused food, what would it be? I know you said pizza earlier, but
Yeah, I feel like actually that wasn't going to be my answer, but I was like, man, I really got to think about that one. But I actually do think that like a bourbon infused like pepperoni or sausage or something like that, like on the pizza. So like as it cooks and like melts down onto the pizza or whatever, like that juice kind of like goes into the dough. I think would be kind of interesting and cool.
I think the pizza would be awesome if you did like a hot honey bourbon to the pizza. If you could somehow infuse the honey and the bourbon together, make like a barrel aged hot honey. I know
Yeah,
people
that'd
have done
actually be
that.
pretty good. That would be actually really good. Ooh, ooh. All right.
Besides pizza, what are you doing,
No,
Chris?
I got one. A bourbon infused caprese salad. So instead of the balsamic vinegar that people use, give me like a balsamic or give me like another vinegar or something or like a dressing that has like some good bourbon like notes to go in that tomatoes and the acidity. I think would be in the mozzarella would be really good.
That's an interesting one. I never would have thought a salad. I'm
Well,
not
a
really
caprese
much of a
salad,
salad
if
either.
yeah, but think about it, caprese salad, all it is mozzarella, basil, tomato, and balsamic vinegar. It's not really a salad. It's just 4 slices of shit put together.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, for sure.
They call it a salad, but a caprese salad literally is just like 4 main ingredients in big slices. Or if you do it at my house, we do it with pasta because it's kind of fun. But instead of doing the balsamic vinegar, do like a hot, I say hot, a high proof bourbon mixed with something acidic in a way. That would kind of bring some like oaky, smoky flavors to it.
I think I'm still going back to the hot honey pizza with the bourbon infused honey.
Yeah, that makes more sense for normal people, but for someone who loves a caprese salad, now I might have to make this in a couple weeks.
New video coming on this TikTok soon for sure.
Right? How to
People are
fuck
gonna
up your
hate on that.
caprese salad?
People are gonna comment on that like they have on the last video. Um,
Facts. Someone else did this first.
Uh,
Blooper reel.
we gotta add a blooper reel of all these like ones that you and I did that are just like funny because we were just like, yeah, cut that out.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
give it to our members early. Okay, Chris, 3 questions left. We have what is your most overrated bottle in your selection, not a collection, selection, in your opinion?
Oof. That's okay. That's actually really hard because I genuinely don't like buying a lot of that stuff, but I guess anything Weller that's not foolproof. So my Weller 12, my Weller special, actually that's it. Weller 12 special reserve. Those two, I guess.
I don't disagree with you on the special reserve or the special on the foolproof because the foolproof is one of the better ones. It's definitely 107 and foolproof
But
because those are two of the best.
the thing for me is both of my foolproofs are store picks, so they're more unique.
Mm.
So there's at least that. But my special reserve and the Weller 12 is kind of shit, to be honest.
Hot take alert! Hot take, folks.
Second hot take. I
I
mean,
definitely agree.
yeah, I guess those are my two most overrated. I know you said one, but those are my most overrated. Everything else is like pretty straightforward.
I will say, Chris, that I understand the Weller 12. I hate the proof point. It's just like the Michter's 10 Rise and Bourbons, like I said in mine. And I think that the foolproof is awesome. And I think it's going back to what we said earlier that the proof is depending on what kind of like where you at in your journey. And I think for us now that we're on the more of the high proof side, now there are some lower proofs that we go back to, but I will say that I definitely love Weller foolproof and I understand not liking the 12, but the Weller Special Reserve is one that I don't think should be allocated, but for the price point, you just can't really go wrong with it.
I don't know what you're talking about because my price point around here is 75 to 100, and it's absolutely criminal that they're charging that price. Okay, let's make that clear.
I don't disagree with you because I found it for like $99 the other day, but because we have good friends and some of the owners who can get us stuff, I have it shipped in now. I don't have to really worry about that.
Still at $30. Is that what the MSRP is? 30, right?
It's
I'm
25, 24.99, I think. So like 30, 35 shipped.
cool. Still not buying it. Still not happening. It's not good.
Another hot take, foolproof, or sorry, 12 and special reserve are crap, according to
Yep.
Chris.
Special reserve is crap. 12 is just overrated and should be at least 100 proof.
But you're talking to a guy that's just like all craft, so I understand.
Yeah. And I guess that's really what it is like, I mean, like, as I've been sipping on this barrel proof or this barrel bourbon right here, it's 100 proof, but the complexity and the flavors are so dang good. And I mean, I know this bottle's expensive, like most barrel products are, but a Weller 12 at MSRP is still like bland. Like it doesn't
Mm,
taste like it should be 12 years old. Like there's no
mm.
complexity to it. That's like, oh well, yeah, this is a 12-year-old product. Like it has something to it. No, it's just like, okay, it's slightly more elevated than a special reserve.
Yeah, the proof point's really what gets me. I just don't want to spend them $150 on a bottle that I think is probably worth like $50.
I think the MSRP on that is like 50 or 60 anyway. So
Yeah.
there's that. It's still
Mm.
it's still for $60. I don't care because it's a 90 proof. It doesn't have complexity. There's 90 proofers out there that do. This one doesn't.
You're right.
That's why I'm glad I got it in a raffle for $30.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Chris, 2 questions left. Second to last question. The apocalypse is coming. What bottle are you grabbing to have as your pour during the apocalypse?
Stag Hazmat.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just been in love with my Stag Hazmat lately. The barrel pick I have. I think that one's just like, oh, because it'll just get me so amped up, ready to go.
That's
Or
a different
hammered.
take for sure.
Or hammered. Depends on how you look at it.
Chris is dying in person in the apocalypse. You heard it first.
Yeah.
I know you and Lonnie and them had it when you guys went to your house for TikTok Live a couple weeks ago, and it's one I would love to get a pick of. The stag picks are always seem to be fantastic.
And that's why I only have Stag picks. I don't have any of the batched. I don't because they're so hard to find and they're so overpriced. But the store that we get the store picks from like actually price them reasonably. So I'm like, yeah, I would rather buy a store pick over the batched products all day, every day.
I think you got what yours for like 99 bucks. Is that right?
One was 80. The hazmat was 180,
It's not bad. I mean,
which
the
yeah,
hazmat for 180 is
is
hard, but
still good.
I,
Yeah,
for 80 bucks though, that's a buy it every single day of the week, twice on Sunday.
yeah. So the one over here is the one that was 80. The one right here was 180 because that's the hazmat one. But at the end of the day, a 180 for a hazmat stag, like you don't find those. So
To be fair, we don't find hazmats or stags in our area, and the one stag that we do have in our area is 265 bucks, and it's not happening.
that hurt.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it hurts me too when I walk in the store and see it collecting dust on the shelf.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, we're down to our last question. Describe your palate only using fast food items.
Put a lot of thought into this.
From the
Chick
last
fil
time
A.
we did this.
Chick fil A. My palate is Chick fil A. A little bit of spicy options, a little bit of regular options.
Little sweetness from the sauce.
Yeah. Because let's be honest,
Perfect.
everyone loves the Chick fil A sauce. A lot of people like the regular chicken sandwich. I like the spicy deluxe. You know, there's a
Mm.
little bit of everything going on. I am Chick fil A of bourbon.
I know I remember some questions, but I don't remember that one.
I
That
don't
was
remember
probably
that one
at the
either.
end of the night with pours.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, Chris. Well, thanks for joining us. Be sure to stay tuned for more podcasts. Be sure to subscribe. Hit all of our links. It'll be in the bio. And anything else you want to say to the folks, Chris?
Last thing I'll say, I guess, is every journey is different. Explore what you want, like what you like. Don't let any of us tell you what you should and should not like. We just like to tell you what we get out of them. This journey's for everyone. Let's all be friends and have fun and explore together.
Well put, Chris. I think you're definitely right. Everything's different for everybody, and don't feel like people are making fun of you for drinking the lower proof stuff. It's one that adds to your journey and makes you understand kind of what those lower proof items are, what's different about it than the high proof stuff. So, definitely stick to your guns there. And thanks again for joining us, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad to have done this.
Yeah, everybody, go check out the links. We'll have it all. We got the blog, the Facebook group, the Patreon. Head to them all, check them out. We'll see you
Hit
all,
them all up, like, subscribe, do all that jazz.
all of them. We'll see you all in the next one. Have a good night.
Cheers, y'all.